In this video we're going to look at the different types of quadratic equations that you can solve and how to solve this. It says solve the following quadratic equations. A, x squared minus 36 is equal to 0. B, x squared minus 3x is equal to 0. And C, x squared minus 4x minus 12 is equal to 0. So let's take the first one, x squared minus 36 is equal to 0. There's two ways of solving this. Method 1, if we write down x squared minus 36 is equal to 0, and if we add 36 to both sides, we'll get that x squared is equal to 0 plus 36, which is 36. The opposite of squaring is to take the square root of both sides. The square root of x squared is x, and when we take the square root, we need to take plus or minus of the number. So the answer is x is equal to plus or minus 6. Method 2 relies on this formula, a squared minus b squared is a plus b, a minus b. This is called the difference of two squares. So we've got x squared minus 36 is equal to 0. So a squared is x squared, therefore a must be x. B squared is 36, therefore b must be 6. So we can rewrite this side as x plus 6, x minus 6, and of course we've got it equal to 0. Now we've got two brackets. Now for two brackets, either be equal to 0, either the first one's equal to 0, or the second one's equal to 0, or they're both equal to 0. So we say either x plus 6 is equal to 0, which gives x is minus 6, or x minus 6 is equal to 0, x is equal to 6. Notice we've got the same answers, which is what we would expect. We just need to work on the method perhaps that worked for us. This is probably easier in the first instance, but this might be a bit more useful a bit later on. So B, we've got x squared minus 3x is equal to 0. We've got no number on the end of this quadratic like in part C, so we can factorise this and this. So x squared is written as x times x. Remember that x squared is x times itself, not 2x. And then we've got 3x, so minus 3x, that's 3 times x. Now if we look at this, what we've got in common here and here, well, we've got an x here and an x here. So put a circle around those, and then that becomes the beginning of our factorisation and the bracket. And then here, what we've got was not circled, we've got x minus 3 is equal to 0. So now we can say either this x is equal to 0 or x minus 3 is equal to 0. So either x is equal to 0, that gives us one solution, or x minus 3 is equal to 0, and then if we add 3 to both sides, we're going to get that x is equal to 3. So therefore we get x is equal to 0 or x is equal to 3 are the solutions of that quadratic equation. The last one, x squared minus 4x minus 12 is equal to 0. Now either you can factorise straight away, or you've got to use a method. The method I like is product, so we've got 1x squared, so we'll put a 1 there. And to get the product we do 1 times minus 12, which gives me minus 12. To get the sum, we do take just the middle number here, which is minus 4. Then we ask ourselves, we require two numbers whose product is minus 12 and sum is minus 4. Product minus 12 and sum is minus 4. Now, we can try some numbers, but with a little bit of trial and improvement, we will come up with minus 6 and 2. We can just check that. The product is minus 6 times 2, which is minus 12. That seems to agree. And then we've got the sum, which is minus 6 plus 2, which is minus 4, so that agrees as well. For it to work, both of these must agree. So, what we do now, we take the quadratic, which is x squared minus 4x minus 12, and we write down x squared. Now we split this middle term up into minus 6x plus 2x and then minus 12. And now we factorise by what's known as grouping. So we group the first two terms together and take out the common factor of x, and we're left with x minus 6. and then we write down the plus sign, and then we group the second two terms, which is 2x minus 12, and take out a common factor of 2, and we're left with x minus 6 is equal to 0. Now, if we've done this process correctly here and here, we will have the same things, and therefore that now becomes a common factor and can come out. So we get x minus 6, and then we're left with x plus 2 is equal to 0. So just think about that. If you take that, x times x minus 6 will become x minus 6. X minus 6 times 2 will become that. So now we can say either x minus 6 is equal to 0, adding 6 to both sides, we're going to get that x is 6, or x plus 2 is equal to 0, taking 2 from both sides, we're going to get x is minus 2. So the solutions are x is equal to minus 2, or x is equal to 6. Just for to go back a little bit here, it doesn't matter which way round you write these two, and again in here it doesn't matter which way round you write these two. Okay, so this has been a video to show you how to solve different types of quadratic equation by factorisation. I hope you've understood, and I thank you very much for watching.